Yeah, here we are. We're rolling deep here at AGDQ 2018. I'm Spike Vachita.
I'm Sylvite.
And we'll be your commentators for this awesome race of Donkey Kong Country 2 in the Warpless category. On my right here, we have got, hailing from Quebec, Canada, we have got Void.
In front of me, we have Waffle Golden Flow 42, hailing from Seattle, Washington.
Man, now I feel bad. I didn't give him like a subtitle name.
That's fine.
So, with that, guys, let's go ahead and jump in. Again, this is the Warpless category. Whenever you guys are ready, I'll let Sylvie give you a countdown, and we'll jump right into it.
All right, ready? On go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so yeah, we are jumping in here. This is Donkey Kong Country 2, one of the best Speed games of all time. And we are running a category that the community has been very passionate about. Super excited to get in. It is the Warpless category. As the title suggests, we will not be taking any warps throughout the game. Obvious, but also not just intended warps, but unintended warps as well. We're seeing right off the bat here, we're picking up Rambi in the first level. He got a bit of an upgrade coming from Donkey Kong Country 1. Goes real fast, and that's already the end of the first level, ladies and gentlemen. I heard someone clapping in the back. They're like, that was awesome. I love rhinoceroses. So yeah, we're going to be seeing they actually skipped over the Dixie barrel, or actually Void went ahead and grabbed Dixie there in the first level. A little bit of a difference of preference of when you pick them up right here. Diddy is generally going to be preferred. We want Dixie in this level because of that vertical movement we just saw right there from both of the players, having that team-up throw that is exclusive or became implemented in Donkey Kong Country 2. Just climbed a lot faster. And right there on Void's screen, something we shouldn't have seen this early, but it is the goal swap. You want to explain just kind of what a goal swap is?
Goal swap is exactly what it sounds like. If you hit select to swap your Kongs on a goal and your partner is in an airborne state, you get to switch your Kong order and exit the level at the same time.
Right there we saw from both players the moonwalk technique, where basically you just turn around while still moving to the right slightly, and you're setting up all these enemies from the camera cycle to be able to roll through all of them. Because you want to roll through enemies as much as you can. You gain a lot of speed off of those.
Here we're seeing a little bit of invincibility being employed just so we can roll right through all these enemies, get right out of this stage as soon as possible.
All right, Waffle with just a few seconds lead here over Void, very early on though. Going into the first water level of the game. Super cool trick we got coming up right here, right as the water starts to raise up. He's gonna crouch and then jump and maintain that momentum in the jump going up. Void with the same thing, very just cool, pleasing looking trick right there. Sylvie, I mean, how would you describe the water levels in this game as far as speedrunning goes?
You're not gonna die in them, but man, going fast in them is hard.
Yes, some of the absolute hardest to optimize in any percent. We only really have to do one of them. Here, that's gonna be up to 3. What you're seeing is all of these corners of all the boxes. Think of them more, you can kind of see them cutting these corners. They're almost more like rounded than they are hard, squares or anything. So they want to be able to do that and maintain all that momentum, curving around, having it very precisely micro-routed out.
And already we're into one of the hardest levels in this category. We have to do these glitch snake double jumps. And a lot of these you actually have to get the maximum height possible to go through the stage in the optimal route.
Yeah.
You can see even at this level of play, it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely some of the hardest piece of tech in the game. Again, up here, we switched. This is the first level where we preferred to play as Dixie, just because, as you can see, her hover ability is very important for just skipping over little chunks of ropes and other sections of the level. Void right there taking the lead in this level, having a little bit less trouble with the Rattly double jumps, but none of it really matters. So yesterday, this guy sucks. So you have to hit this guy with 4 eggs. The first 2 are always set. They're always going to be good to go. But then after that, it's about a 50-50 shot if he's going to give you a fake egg or not. Waffle was trying to set a new world record there with 10 fake eggs yesterday in the practice room. Pretty bad. Hopefully none of them have that problem today. Well, yeah.
All right, Void the first one out.
Void, and then Waffle. Okay,
that's not bad.
That's whatever. That's whatever.
It could have been much worse.
I felt so bad for both of them yesterday. It was like 27. All right, so anyways, we're moving here into the next level. Maybe the best part about Warpless is that we actually get to hear this track.
It's true.
Yeah, the lava level track. I can't remember what's it called. Lava something. I don't know. Is it
The level or the song?
the song?
Hothead Bop.
Hothead Bop. Yeah, it's really good. I obviously did my research going into this race, as you can tell. But yeah, relatively straightforward stage. I think this is actually a decent place if you want to read off 2 quick donations.
Absolutely. We got $50 from MadMark22. Says, shout out to the Donkey Kong Country crew and good luck to Void and Waffle on the race. He put it toward the reverse boss order, which we have met. Greetings from Quebec. P.S. You only need 2 buttons, Y and reset. And $50 from Dr. Throat Punch, who says, always loved watching GDQ. Happy to finally be in a position to support it. Thanks for all the great work.
This is one of my favorite pieces of tech in the game. It's called the Big Boy. Yay. So off of that, you're basically able to throw your other Kong into an enemy and get effectively a double jump off of it, allowing you to get a lot more height and skip over platforms here and there. We'll be seeing that a couple of times throughout the run. This is in general a very satisfying level to watch. I love the vertical movement in it.
Same. You're going to see them take a lot of advantage of these team throw mechanics in these vertical levels.
Yeah, once again, just being able to throw them out. You'll see them a couple of times utilize, like right here, let this eagle come down and then bounce off of it, giving them enough height and then throwing out of it. We have another one right here. And now go ahead and use this guy. Oh. Now, I want you guys to know, Void is a very good 102% runner, and he wanted to show off his skills for you today.
Yeah. Look how fast you got out of that bonus.
That was pretty good, I'm not going to lie. All right, so coming off there, we'll have to see where in the level we actually are. All right, we're okay.
Right.
But, you know, like I said, we're getting some bonus content for you guys here at AGDQ 2018.
A little bit of DLC.
That's crazy how they did that for a 1995 video game. So we got both of them now into the second of the 3 major water levels right here, Lava Lagoon. The basic mechanic of this is you want to hit these seals, make them throw up in the water, and somehow that makes it cooler. Yeah, so we obviously want to avoid that as much as we can just because it's a little bit of a slower animation, obviously a very optimized game. But you're going to see them in some cases still go over where they are because the water is all based off of camera manipulation. Like right there you saw on Waffle's screen on the left, or whichever side it is for you guys, on the right for you guys, that made the water go up, even though he didn't actually utilize the seal.
If you're not familiar with these games, when the water is that bright red color, it will damage you, so we have to jump on the seal to make it a normal color of water so that we can swim in it safely.
Once again, manipulating the camera there just to get it going up, even though we don't want to use the seal. Another goal swap there from Waffle. Again, it's a technique where we just run full speed into it. There's actually lots of different ways to activate it. I'm going to shut up because this is a really cool level. And we'll talk about goal swapping later.
We have a couple of really hard tricks coming up, so we're going to have to let the runners concentrate on them for a sec. But don't blink. Very nice.
Nice.
I think we're still fine on Waffle screen.
I was about to say, I figured they would kill it.
Very nice.
Yeah, all right. We got one more here on Void screen. 4 for 4 on the impossible level, ladies and gentlemen. There's always that like, oh, I want to clap after the Rambi jumps, but then you've got another impossible trick coming right up after that. So yeah, I don't know if we want to. So normally in any percent, there are all these wrong warps that we do, where a lot of it involves all this black magic that goes on, but also having that invisible barrel of sorts that was in Dixie's hair. We actually utilized it there instead of creating a wrong warp to effectively just throw the balloon.
Exactly, and it saves so much more time than it looks.
I mean, look at how slow these balloons are moving.
Yeah.
That covered a fair distance. It's like, I think Void said yesterday it was like 8 seconds or something.
7 or 8.
7 or 8. Which is crazy for how little distance that looked like. All right, moving in here into Squawk Shaft, the final level of World 2 before the boss. Again, a lot more just sexy, fun, vertical movement, always satisfying barrel blasting throughout.
This is one of my favorite songs in the game, personally.
Oh, this is my favorite. Mining Melancholy. Oh, wait, no. Yes. Yeah, Mining Melancholy. Yeah. For some reason, I like psyched myself out about that. I promise it actually is my favorite track. It's just like, that's what was scripted for me to say right there. But yeah, so here we've got our first instance of squawks. The thing about Donkey Kong Country 2 is you need to not just be good at moving your Kongs, but also utilizing all the different pieces of tech, including all of the animal buddies. So that was actually an intentional damage that Waffle took there to try to set up his Kongs in the right order to get Dixie there. You have to be both very good at mashing to get squawks through this vertical movement as quickly as possible, but also good at just aiming your projectiles, which can be used to hurt enemies, but also their own enemy projectiles. It's looking like good climbs here by both players. We got a very close race going into the boss of World 2 here. Again, those damage boosts were happening because they wanted Dixie ideally to be in front. Throughout most of the run, we're going to want to play as Diddy just because he has faster movement on the ground. Dixie does give her hover ability though, and she is preferred for most of the bosses, just kind of the ways they work out, and you want to end all of the bosses with her in front. Now coming up here, we have got a very scary, very risky trick. It is the lava fly. So you're gonna see both players jump up here to the top left and then start floating all the way across instead of waiting for Cleaver. We got one player across.
Very nice.
We got both players across, very nice. Important little detail you might have missed right there. They actually have to make Cleaver attack them. Otherwise, all these hooks that come out afterwards will not spawn, and they can't fly back from the right to the left.
Cool little bit of swag on Waffle
Yep.
screen. The old flying Diddy glitch.
Thank you for the fans.
Ooh, and
Ooh, two
Boy.
for two, ladies and
boy,
gentlemen.
not to be outdone
Oh.
there. There's a rule in this game that it's not swag if it's faster. So if it's the same amount of time or it's slower, it counts as swag.
You definitely got two of the top players in the world right here, the two top runners in both this category and in any percent. So quite a treat we got for you guys this morning.
And if you're familiar with any percent, you'll be familiar with a lot of what's going to happen in the rest of the run. Not many more warps are going to be coming up, but can't sleep on any of these levels.
At least intended warps, those
Right,
are
right.
over, but lots of wrong warps still to go. So again, showing off here how much of a power upgrade Rambi had. You're going to see on both the players' screens, they actually dismount Rambi right at the end. Saves a little bit of animation time watching him explode. And now you're actually seeing both these players having a team-up throw and throwing it into the barrel. That's actually to store a super jump. Super jump allowing them to then take damage off of this enemy right here, which is going to shoot Dixie far up into the air and allow her to skip over that barrel. Ooh, getting the G.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what I like to see. Ooh. Not as much of a G, but good enough. And a little swag blast out of the barrel. Oh, wait, it's not swag because it's faster, right? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's not swag. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Grabbing
I literally just ignored what you just said about that.
Grabbing the G is swag. Jumping in the barrel, not swag.
There we go.
That's okay. We got like 30 more minutes. We'll get this down.
Yeah, thanks. We should have worked on this more. No, so here we are into, this is the big level that, when you're running any percent that gets you used to swimming. It is one where it's never, like Sylvite said earlier, these levels are never going to kill your run, but it is amazing how much time you can bleed. And seeing how close this race is certainly could switch up the lead of this race.
Or at least make it closer.
Yes. Again, wanting to know exactly how to curve around these corners, having good movement all the way throughout. Dixie's hitbox, fun fact, is a little bit bigger than Diddy's, but these guys are not wussies about it. They're going to stick to their girl.
Yeah, Dixie and Diddy swimming in the water is the same speed.
Yes. And we could probably get in a couple of quick donations as we swim through the last of this level.
You got it. $100 from DBX1 Hitter saying donating for the Rollin' Deep crew. Good luck to my man Void and Waffle as well in what I know is going to be an awesome race. And Alexander the Art donated $50, said longtime viewer, first time donating. I miss the live runs every year for whatever reason, so I'm excited to catch this race now, even though I should be working. Good luck, guys, and thanks for all you do.
Third there is probably the hardest goal swap in the game. We call it the Kipple swap. Person who made it mainstream. Shout outs to Kipples.
My God, you do not want to miss it. Otherwise, you will get their fanfare at the end. So this is the first. Ooh, we got, as you can see right here, rolling a little too deep there on Void screen. This is a very perilous level. Very easy to have your Kongs at the bottom of the swamp right here. They're going to have to be jumping off of these vines as quickly as possible, not ever stopping, really. Making sure that they're rolling off the edges of these crocodile heads. Waffle there having a little bit of trouble himself. losing Diddy. Ooh, barely making that. I was not sure if that was going to work. Picking back up his Kong right here, you really want Diddy's movement all the way throughout. All right, so Waffle coming up here on the last section. Always very scary. Grabbing both the bottom vines and getting out. We'll see if Void can match.
These last 30 rolls are probably the hardest part of the level.
Yeah, and definitely the scariest, so very nice.
And now we're the snake again.
Now we have the snake again. We have got Ratley, and this level's infamous for, we'll just say questionable hitboxes.
I definitely questioned it many times.
You'll feel like you do the same thing 700 times, then one day I'll just be like, oh no, those hitboxes are different. You're not getting a ton of vertical movement in this game, or in this level from Ratley. It's more horizontal movement. The big important thing here is that you actually want to stay in the air as much of the level as possible, just because you move faster in the air.
You're going to see them chaining these jumps off enemies for that exact reason. They want to stay in the air, and they want to keep their momentum, basically to match their muscle memory, because the flow of this level is very important. If you get it a little bit off, it can really mess you up.
You can see a little bit, almost like kind of an air jump, dropping down there for Waffle. The camera kind of stops you right there, so you don't want to do a full jump to land right down there and then line up your next hits. Same thing there for Void. We're coming up on the end of the level, looking relatively clean for both players, so very nice. We got another amazing level right here. We normally would wrong warp through. Instead, we're going to have some crazy rope climbing this time.
Yeah, and upcoming right here, I think, is the biggest skip that we allow in this category.
Yeah, again, no warp, so we can do this. Whee! It's from, you can see on Void's screen right now, that character swap in the water is what stores it for whatever reason. Whee! And not only does that obviously propel you high up in the air, that also allows you to not have the water. It kind of breaks the trigger for the water that normally follows you up. Which could sometimes be a problem, because now if they fall in the level, they're falling a lot further. So we got here Waffle looking like he is down his Diddy Kong. So he's having to make it work with Dixie. Again, need to know how to back this up each time.
Yeah, needing to take the long route around here. I think we're going to see Void not do this part.
Yeah, very sexy looking big boy right here. And we are just about tied up, ladies and gentlemen.
Just like that. And Waffle still does have to grab Diddy here at some point.
Yeah, there's a number of DK barrels throughout. So in this level, all of these insta-blasts, like when the barrel is already facing the direction you want to go, it's about literally a 3-frame window in order to get that instant shot. So keep that in mind as we go through these. Like we got this double coming up here.
There you go. And Void now with a slight lead.
And Waffle's still having to pick up Diddy at some point. Gonna be coming up right here.
It just means that he can't do this damage boost that Void is about to do.
He is at some point also going to want to get Diddy in front here. It looks like it's not going to be till the platform coming up, which potentially could affect this next trick coming up on Void's screen right here. We got the Vine clip from Void. Yeah, Waffle dropping back down to set it up. Throwing backwards.
That trick is notoriously difficult. It's called Vine Clip.
That right there showing the experience. Both these players sinking thousands of hours into this game. Void giving his opinion of the run so far. He just said this run sucks and he's ahead of Waffle. I think that's some shade. All right, so here's Cudgel. He's cool. There are ways to save time in this boss.
Yeah, you're going to see a little bit of camera manipulation, picking up the barrel in a certain spot so that the camera scrolls to the right, and we can just kind of hit him in the butt with a TNT barrel.
Yeah, it's I don't know what necessarily these two players do specifically, but it's I know a lot of people say you count either Dixie's breaths as she breathes up and down, or her hair oscillations.
Well, that's the same thing. It's just
right. Yeah, whatever you're looking at, you can better. Yeah, that is what allows you to know each time, and it's a different amount each time because he comes down a little faster. So it's like 4.5 breath cycles, 3, 16, 25.
Because if you start moving to the right too early, Cudgel's going to be facing you and you won't be able to get the quick hit. If you go too late, obviously he'll fall on you.
Yes. So it's a trick that over the 6 hits in the fight saves like 2 seconds.
Yes.
And if you miss the cycle, you're potentially losing like, I don't know, around 10 or so. It depends on which cycle.
You see that they're not even going for all of them. Some of them are a little scarier than others.
So with that, we've got an awesome race coming to you guys here from HDQ 2018. I'm going to kick it over for a few more quick donations as we beat this very boring buzz.
All right. Well, $150 from Rob Roy saying, finally able to donate. Good luck to the runners. And the money goes to the runner's choice. So we'll need to get that at some point. I know a little bit busy right now. $200 from Rebellious, Donkey Kong Country 2. You guys reminded me of amazing video game memories. DKC2 will always be one of the best classics from Nintendo. I also can't wait for the Burnout Paradise run, too. Keep the donations up, people. Let's break last year's record.
Sylvi, is this one of your favorite levels? I love Hornet Hole.
It's a silent killer, man. This stage needs a lot more practice than you think. It kills your hands when you try to grind it. All right. Void very wisely opting out of that jump.
They elected to make this level a lot harder but faster because they're actually playing this opening part with Diddy as opposed to Dixie. Dixie allowing you to hover all this honey. But we've got an amazing trick coming up right here called the Scrolly Scroll. We're basically going to trick the game into thinking we are on that hook still while being on the spider and the web at the same time. And you get this. So watch Waffle right now. We are going to have him team up so the honey doesn't catch him. He's going to throw up so he doesn't have to hit the bee, and then intentionally both of them hitting that bee right there to actually end the glitch. Otherwise, you would just keep scrolling. So all that is very intentional. And now skipping over this last section, we're going to have Waffle moving up to this top section, flying down, then jumping right as the camera scrolls, and then flying all the way across. So very nice Hornet Hole from both players. Yeah, that was probably a really quick explanation, but yeah, again, the long and the short of it is whenever you're on the hook, the game locks the camera in place, but you still aim it to where you're going to be on the spider and the web also at the same time. It confuses the game, and it just says, all right, I'm going to make you go really fast because speedruns are cool. But with that, this is the first of 4 now, major auto-scrollers in the run. A couple little flitter or dragonfly skips they're going to be doing that save just a little bit of time, but I think this is another great place for some donations as we chill our way through this.
Well, we got $50 here from NovaSun00 saying, Team Void, let's go Donkey Kong Country 2. Just like Kitty, cancer is objectionably the worst. I lost my mom to cancer a few years ago. Detection was able to give us 2 extra years with her, though. Hope this can stop at least one person from experiencing that loss. We've got $30 from Clayton148 saying, hello and welcome. Over the last year, the Donkey Kong Country community has become my second home. Shoutouts to my boy Void and the rest of the DKC family who are at GDQ this year. So sorry I couldn't make it there with you guys. Donation goes to Void's choice. Rolling out. And we got $30 from Anankaz. Rolling in for the Rollin' Deep runners. Good luck, Void and Waffle.
Say no to swag.
We're taking it serious here at HDQ 2018. Come on. All right, so we have got, I said famous, you said infamous yesterday.
I
level
did.
In Donkey Kong Country 2. We have got Bramble Scramble right here, another level that we used, now we get to skip in any percent, but here we got to do it. And once again, it requires being very, very good at your squawks movement, moving up as fast as you can, having good mashing, and also using your projectiles to not just kill enemies, but also to neutralize their attacks, as you saw right there from Void.
There's a bit of a curse in this game where all the really cool levels seem to get wrong warps.
As it turns out,
yeah.
Great if you want an easy run like me, but whatever. You got Waffle just hugging this right side. As you can see, the hitbox isn't exactly what it looks like. Diddy and Dixie, like you can have their bellies and their butts basically just sitting on the bramble. It's more so Squawks that is your hitbox that you want to protect. Now we got Void quickly moving through here. I believe you said there are 2 less bees.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the American version, although I think we're doing 1 each. That's awesome. Yeah. And right here, that's cool. Void just slipping past the bramble again, showing off that hitbox that I was talking about. No one at home could hear that, right?
I don't know. It seems like the audience heard
Kids
it.
are at school, right? Okay, good. Oh, yeah, it's Monday. Kids are in school. You're fine. Say whatever you want. But that was a cool Bramble Scramble by both of them, right? Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. I had fun.
I had fun.
All right, so we have our next auto scroller here. This one's a little less trivial. It's actually pretty scary. I mean, probably not for these guys who've been doing it for thousands of hours, but for me, it's certainly scary. You're going to be going really, really fast all the way throughout this. You have to bop off of these enemies as you're going past these pits, and there is no checkpoint in this level. So if you fall in a pit, you're going really, really, really far back.
This is not a stage you want to look away from when you're playing it, suffice to say.
This is not the read chat screen. Coming up here, we've got second place guy, very infamous second place guy. Jumping at the top to try to make this a little less tight of a window. All right, Void able to take him down. The true final boss. And Waffle clears him as well. All right, good job, boys. With that, let's go ahead and get another donation before we jump into the next very difficult level.
We got a good one here for you. $250 from Cody102. He says, good luck to all the runners, and thanks for contributing to such a great cause.
Mudhole Marsh.
Pinnacle of this game, I think.
This is one of the levels that almost like defines this game as a speed run. All the different things you have to be good at and just like how terrifying it is as a platforming level. These players are going to be rolling deep into this swamp area, just a little bit off. They're going to be going in like right there as you saw on Void screen.
Under the stage. And upcoming on Void screen is probably the most difficult part of the level. We have to very cleanly navigate this part.
Eagles everywhere. There are lots of different strategies you can utilize, but instead he's going to like to go under them for the most part. Very nice execution there from Void. And very well done there by both players. Seeing another moonwalk there by Void. Bouncing off these Eagles. Waffle's going to be going for the same thing.
This is another level where we are skipping a warp. We would normally warp out of the last part of this. Wolf takes a hit, but that's fine. Just get his boyfriend back.
All right, and we got here at the very end of the level. He's actually turning back to left because that despawned the barrel for him. And now we got Waffle once again dealing a little bit more Dixie than we want to see in this level, but it is going to make the end of this level a little bit safer. He can just utilize that hover and not have to wait as long.
Void screen range, seeing a really tricky team throw double jump. Nice.
Oh.
Void wants to show off as many strats as possible for the audience.
The backup. There we go. Yeah. It's actually it's nice that backup exists. Otherwise, you would genuinely lose a lot of time.
We are going to see Waffle do something slightly different, or at least go for something slightly different. Yep, just allowing us to throw Dixie upwards, get on the honey that way. Waffle jumping up to load the bee so that he can simply get in that barrel and shoot up straight away, not having to risk taking damage with Sola Dixie.
Definitely made up some good time there, but that did cut that about in half, having to wait for that enemy again. And right here you're seeing now they're playing as Rambi again. This part always looks super impressive. It's basically hold right and jump. Charge it up and go. Know when to jump.
There are ways to optimize it. There are ways to mess it up. Just don't try and get too tricky.
And right here on Void screen, a little bit of a Rambi double jump of sorts right there to actually avoid the barrel, saving just a little bit of time.
And now, I think the hardest boss in the game, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I genuinely think it is the hardest one to optimize and do well. We have to hit him specifically on his stinger. So all of their movement in this fight is actually very specific because they're always going to start the next attack phase, the bee, up in this top middle portion. So by manipulating your movement, it pulls him upwards, and then you're able to get in the shots.
Because no matter what, the bee is going to go up there anyway. So it's both faster and easier to just make sure that the bee is up here when it becomes vulnerable.
Having some good hits from both players so far.
Very nice.
This is the one time he'll ever get the 2 cycle, ladies and gentlemen. Aww.
Come on. He did try. He normally doesn't try.
Waffle trying to get in his last hit right there. Have to pull him up one more time again, having to improv a little bit here to get him up. One more hit here. Very nice. Trying to time that right as the iframes run out. Getting his last few hits. Now we move into World 5, which is actually unchanged from any percent. Just there are no wrong warps or anything here, at least that we use right now as humans in any percent. But super fun platforming stages all the way throughout. Learning this was definitely my favorite part of Donkey Kong Country 2 speedrunning. Just lots of really cool platforming with different gimmicks in every stage that are fun to utilize.
And an auto-scroller.
And one auto-scroller. Which has its optimizations. We'll see coming up here in a little
definitely.
bit. In general, you want to be in your rolling state as much as possible, so a lot of the micro routing throughout this game is trying to figure out, all right, how much rolling can I fit in, and how many different ways do I get refunded my roll, whether it's going off of a surface or whatnot, or going through an enemy. And very nice ending there by Void with a goal swap, very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, there are basically two main ways you optimize rolls. You want to roll as much as possible and as long as possible. So sometimes you'll see them doing very short rolls just so that they can be in the rolling animation as much as possible, just going left and right. But they also don't want to jump out of the roll too early because then they have to start another roll and obviously they don't get as much distance.
And nice job there by Waffle going underneath that rope and then catching it from behind. Very nice.
Audience getting tired.
Wake up. All right, so here we are in the last of the minecart style levels. I said a wrong piece of commentary the other night, and you corrected me on it because I was like, yeah, you want to jump as little as possible or just, on flat ground as little as possible. And that's incorrect.
Yeah, it turns out that the general rule of jump up slopes, jump down slopes is still generally true. But the Tassers, who I believe are all Japanese at this point, figured out that if you jump at very specific points on flat surfaces, it does save some time. Not all of the RTA runners have implemented this, but there's definitely, it's crazy how much optimization there still is to have in the basic movement of this game.
Gotta be very late jumping over each of those bees. Their hitboxes can be a little deceiving with how they interact with you in the cart. Yeah, obviously basic mechanic of this, just trying to hit the plus barrels, keeping your time. If that time ever gets to 0, you will lose a Kong for it. Obviously don't want that to happen, waste a bunch of time. With that, let's get in a few more donations here for the end of the auto-scroller.
All right, we've got $40 from Antilles58.
Yo, just Antilles.
He says, shout-outs to Void, Waffle, the whole DKC crew, and really everyone with GDQ. Even though I've stepped back from speedrunning lately, I still consider these last few years spent rolling monkeys quickly and beating games fast to be one of the greatest joys of my life. Thank you guys for some awesome memories. And Void, I'll keep up my usual tradition of giving $10 per jump roll in DKC. So press Y, keep on rolling deep, guys.
No pressure.
I consider this almost the start of a little gauntlet in the run. Some very different levels, and all of them are very difficult. Obviously, the gimmick here is that we have this wind mechanic that, depending on when you get to certain parts in the camera's cycle, it will either blow you forward or blow you back. So they have to know exactly, their movement has to be very specific so that they don't jump and all of a sudden the wind is blowing them too far in one way or the other.
Avoid jumping off these hooks as soon as possible so that when he gets in the air, the wind will pick him up. He rolls real deep to get on the right side of that barrel so that he can immediately go forward with the wind. And then we're setting up a little bit of a goal swap at the end here also.
Yeah, it might look faster just to stay as Diddy here. It's actually the same speed. It's simply for this goal swap. Oh.
No. Yeah, a little bit of a new advanced tech called the LZ swap at the end there where you don't turn around to do the goal swap. Didn't quite get it, but that's okay.
This is one of my favorite levels in speedrunning. Parrot shoot panic. Normally what they want you to do is take the parrot. Oh, unfortunate death there by Waffle. Did get the halfway point as confirmed by our runners right there. But right here on Void's screen, we got Parrot Shoot Panic where normally they want you to take these purple parrots all the way down. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to have the level memorized and fall all the way through it.
Waffle was Dixie a little bit there. Just trying to figure out what to do. Didn't quite work out. Got another chance at it though.
Void coming up on the last section right here.
It's the headbutt that you want to get in this corner. Have to Diddy headbutt so they can just fall the rest of the way.
Very nice job there by Void.
Webwoods, universally recognized pretty much as one of the top 3 hardest stages in the game.
Yeah, it's always funny coming from Parrot Shoot Panic, which looks so cool, and then you have a much harder level here all of a sudden in Webwoods. And that's because of the spider mechanics coming up. We got a bit of an infinite. I've seen this a couple times from Gusty Glade here.
Gusty Infinite is not to be underestimated.
Like I said, this is definitely the beginning of the gauntlet, and Void's got that same potential here with Web Woods. What is it that makes this level so difficult, Silvite?
Webwoods, especially the spider part, there's just so many things that you have to keep track of all at once, so many inputs that you have to plan in advance and execute all in a very short window, especially this part that's coming up right after the halfway barrel. We're going to see Void take some damage boosts so we don't have to, normally go through the level by shooting these web platforms.
Yeah, there's so many things. It all of a sudden just feels like it turns into a different video game all of a sudden. Now you have to be good at, you're not just moving the spider, you're having to get rid of enemies, which your webs can either be projectiles or they can do that. So your webs can both be projectiles and they can also be platforms. Not exactly sure what happened there, but it's really weird about what sort of webs you can have on screen.
I don't think Void is sure what happened there either.
I was about to say, if he's saying what, I don't feel bad as the commentator for being like, I don't know. All right. So we've got the World 5 Infinite right here, guys. We have got Donkey Kong Country 2 speedrunning, ladies and gentlemen. We're riding the purple parrot on the left side. Oh, for the right side for you guys. I'm looking at it's weird for my direction. Yeah. So we got, Waffle having to do some backup strats right here, having to utilize some damage boosts. Yeah, unfortunately in that situation, Diddy just doesn't have the ability to hover. So.
And actually, funnily enough, the way he died showed why. There's just too many bees for Diddy to safely navigate.
So yeah, coming out of this halfway point. Do you guys need to swap out? We can jump in. I'm just. We do great, I promise you. Yeah, confidence. I would die many times.
I would die maybe slightly fewer times.
Wow, dude, really?
Well, yeah, so you'd sub in for Void, I would sub in for Waffle, and it'd be a close race.
I guess that's true, sure, yeah. Oh, and we got, all right, Waffle's going to have to do a backup strat here. Utilizing the parry, he can still jump at one point. He just has to know where it is. I want to get an applause in here.
Yeah.
We're going to will our way through World War 5, guys.
Ooh, we got some sides in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Sides being taken. So one of the other things, I don't think we mentioned this about Webwoods, is you have to keep track of the number of things that are on screen. Otherwise, these web platforms might spawn early. They might not spawn when and where you want them to. So the movement is actually even more precise than it looks.
All right. Waffle able to get the bonk there. And now moving us right to the end of the level. We're out of Parachute Panic. And we got one pit left, and we're out of Webwoods. Hey. Yeah, that's right, yeah. This is what we like to see here. Rolling deep in the AM of HEQ 2018.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of game left.
I know, right? We got a lot more content for you guys if you were enjoying what you're seeing. Okay, so here on Void's screen, though, we have got, again, very difficult. I think some of the hardest piece of tech is just jumping on the ropes, actually, in this game. It might sound trivial, but really good climbing in this game separates the best players from me. But yeah, here we are. There's also RNG with where exactly these barrels will end up. Ooh. Waffle having to implement some backup strats right here, taking damage that he did not mean to.
And not able to do these damage boosts. You actually get to see what they're skipping over.
Yeah, how slow the movement is, how awkward it becomes.
Back to normal now on Waffle's screen, though.
He's got his two Kongs. Now he's trying to get over the Eagle Pit. Able to clear it. And now he's got the final B pit. He's going to take this, going to try to get really low on the screen so then he can just jump up without the camera catching him and go up, having that vertical movement. Ooh, very nice there by Waffle. He's got the Kipples pit, though. Very nice.
There we go.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right, even more water level optimization happening on Void's screen. We talked about how awful the snake hitbox is, and
we give him too much crap, man. Yeah. This is the guy. This is the culprit for worst hitbox.
We had a donation from Antilles earlier. Antilles hates the fish.
You just switched to running Donkey Kong Country 3. I mean, that one's got a pretty good one. Don't have much else, but whatever. So here we are moving in to the last section. Cool little piece of little trick right here where you can actually shoot downwards in the water. What is that actually causes that, Sylvite?
So when you release the charge while the water is moving you down, basically the vectors are preserved.
Oh,
you
okay.
keep moving down during the charge.
Oh, we've got something you don't want to see on Waffle Screen. We've got Dixie moving up through the ropes. We're in the final section right here. You should be able to take it out. Getting his last barrel. Going to let this last eagle go by, and we are good to go.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for a little bit of swag there, but it's a little scary.
I thought the same thing. It just, they're proving me right. I said it was going to be a gauntlet. But here we are once again. I said Mining Melancholy. Super cool track right here. Little bit almost like an auto scroll, but still some really cool tricks. We got one coming up here on Void's screen. He's going to pick up the barrel and then drop it, spawning Diddy, taking that damage boost, and then off of whenever you take damage and you have another Kong, they'll get this kind of auto jump into the air, which at the height actually pushes you into the next section of the level, skipping over a whole section on the right side of the screen. So very nice execution there by Void. Now he just kind of has to float up the rest of the way. Switch over to Waffle. Looks like we haven't had too many troubles with hitboxes in this level so far.
So far.
I'm throwing it so far. I don't want to jinx anything. All right, and once again, able to line that up correctly to not stay at the surface of the water. Wanted to check out what potential goodies were in that little area before heading on. And we are out. And what's exactly the trick going on right here? We were swimming in the not water right there.
So on Waffle's screen, we're going to show off some new routing that's going on this stage. With Diddy Windy. We're going to do some off-screen movement. One of the bigger big boys in the run. Yeah, we call this route Diddy Windy. It's a little faster. It's definitely a little harder. There's a little bit of a scary roll happening here.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Yeah, from there, it's just understanding exactly where the wind's going to start and trying to jump into that optimally to get your lifts. Now here on Void Screen, we are in the longest auto scroll in the run. This is one we normally would have. It's funny. It's debatable whether you would really call this a warp or not. Let's
not talk about it.
Let's just let it go. What I was going to say was normally we would utilize this barrel as a thing where we would do some black magic and we would skip to the end of the level. We still want this barrel for some trickery coming up here in a little bit.
Some different kind of black magic.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it. Actually.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It looks really cool, so make sure you're watching when it happens. Yeah. We'll warn you when it's coming up, I guess.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the 90% route, we're going to get the barrel in the same place. We're going to get the invisible object at the same point, but we're going to do something a little different with it.
Yeah, it's going to be coming up here pretty soon for Void. So we're going to pick it up here in this corner, get our invisible barrel, and then throw the stage up. Woo! Rolling deep. So that's really cool. You have to take damage there, similar to the scrolly scroll we had back in Hornet Hole in World 4. The screen will just keep going, so you have to take damage to actually stop it. I wish the ceiling just wasn't there. You just literally flew up to the end.
I don't know if that would be allowed in Warpless.
At that point, you're not warping at that point. You're just going really fast.
Let's not talk about it. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
We're gonna. Yeah, that was your fault, right there.
It was.
I was just being wishful. So once again, we've got the companion barrel right here on Waffle Screen as well. He wants to protect this with his life. So your movement, just kind of how you handle this section is very specific to make sure you don't lose it, but also reduce lag from killing certain enemies throughout the level as well. With that, my God, if you have donations.
Oh, we've got plenty. They've been rolling deep on the donation side as well. Cruncho with $50.
Yeah, my boy Cruncho.
A little bit of a throwback. He said the Claude and Dragon Ball Joseph had simultaneous flying ditties on screen at AGDQ 2015. And now 3 years later, we got the simultaneous flying ditties on screen again. Thanks for keeping the dream alive. Bexy donates $150. Runner's Choice in honor of my friend Maurice. Love you. And there's a $30 donation from Anonymous, longtime viewer, first-time donator. Love watching, especially my favorite game of all time. Thanks Void, Waffle, the GDQ staff, and all the viewers for making GDQ one of the highlights of my year. And there's a $300 anonymous donation It says, this donation is for my Uncle Bruce. He fought off brain cancer for 10 whole years after being given only one to live. Sadly, he succumbed back in October. One of my greatest memories of him was logging on to AOL to look at Nintendo Power's website to help me beat Donkey Kong Country 2. Let's end cancer with video games. Love you, Bruce. We've also got $100 from Robobo. I lost one of my dearest friends to ENB, esthesioneuroblastoma, and almost lost my mother to breast cancer. Here's to eradicating cancer in our lifetime. I'm donating to name Rydia after my dear friend Liana. And then there's a $200 anonymous donation here that just says, expand Kong, expand Kong. I'm assuming that was going to Void's DKC1 reverse boss order there.
My God, you can keep reading. Yeah. No worries.
All right, well.
Warpless, baby. All right.
We do have $200 here from Dragon Fangs. It says, DKC2 was one of the games that defined my childhood. Love seeing it destroyed like this. Good luck to all the runners of the event. Money goes to hearing Sumi's sick voice during Snake Eater. I think that's what it was, and not sick voice.
I mean, I guess it kind of works either way right now.
Well, and as a reminder, that incentive is getting closer to its goal. The Simichu Sing Snake Eater is at 5,300 of 7,500. Also got some incentives going on for the Metal Gear Solid race. Save Meryl or save Otakon. It's close, 1519 to 1458.
Please save Otakon. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I was about to say, you got to plug it, man. We had an entire auto-scroller. So here we are in Clapper's Cavern. This is the beginning of the final gauntlet of the run, the final handful of levels we're going to have to do. Dixie's actually preferred here for much of the first half of it, her hover allowing you to clear that first water pit without needing to go. Also, she's really short for some reason, and she can just walk under that bee. It's pretty sick, whereas Diddy would have to duck and slide under it. Just a little bit of on-guard movement right here. Mostly utilized for finding bonus sections right there. We got a cool strat coming up here if you want to explain it.
Yeah, so if you're watching Void screen, we're going to duck under here. We're going to pick up Dixie and throw her into an invincibility barrel, and we're going to go fast because we want to keep this invincibility barrel, the entire time, so we can roll through all these bees, which we wouldn't be allowed to do normally.
Oh, the movement's good. We're keeping it all the way to the goal, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it was awesome.
And obviously, it's faster to roll through enemies instead of ducking under them.
Yeah.
Now, probably one of the hardest but most satisfying stages in Warpless is Chainlink Chamber.
Yeah, very high skill needed to be able to get through here quickly. Again, I talked about how jumping on vines, ropes, these chains, it's actually really hard to do extremely well. This is probably one of the #1 places where top runners gain time on lower level runners. We see him picking up this invincibility barrel, super cool. See all these enemies. He's actually going to elect to drop down here in a section coming up.
So they can roll through this cutlass. Trying to keep this invincibility barrel active for as long as possible, of course.
Yeah, you guys probably can't see it super well on screen, but if you were watching Void right there, pretty intense, all of the different movements that you have to do.
We're going to roll down here instead of grabbing the ropes because obviously that's faster.
Yeah, while you're in that roll state, you cannot latch on to anything, so that's how they're able to do that.
Even more climbing.
So this level is really long, but they can help it out a lot. And here at the end of the level, very nice job there by Void.
Yeah, Toxic Tower, my vote for hardest level in the game.
It's pretty crazy. I'm gonna let you explain again. So we're gonna be utilizing Rattly double jumps. These are really hard, right?
Yeah. So there are 3 kinds of double jumps that you can do. You can do short hops, where you tap B while you're charging a jump. There are then true double jumps and Omega double jumps. You just saw an Omega. You saw how high it gets. An Omega double jump is a true double jump where you're holding Y, and a true double jump is Black Magic.
And very nice job there. Waffle making his way into Chainlink Chamber as well. Very nice job there, getting to the squawk section now. Now a lot more of it, like we were talking about earlier, is just going to be good mashing to get good vertical movement and also aiming those projectiles as well as you can. Gonna elect to take a damage boost right here, which is faster than going the safe route, but it also makes this ending a lot scarier, slipping by these bees. Gonna have 3 sets of bees here he's gonna have to take care of.
And getting through this little line of bees into the squitter barrel.
Definitely the hardest section of the level.
Yeah.
Up in 1, up in 2, up in 3, up in 3, ladies and gentlemen. No, I was convinced. I was convinced I was bad.
I was ready to say up in forehead.
Up in 3, up in 4. It was going to be great. He ruined my joke, but it's whatever. So with that, Void just took out the hardest boss in the game, Stronghold Showdown, and he's going into the final platforming level in the run, Screech's Sprint. As we have Waffle going into, again, like you said, potentially the hardest level in the game. We got Toxic Tower. Let's see how he's able to do here with Ratley.
Oh my God, Void, you're a maniac.
He just got the jump, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually deserving of a clap, legit.
That's actually one of the hardest tricks you can go for.
Yo, and Waffle having a sick Ratley section right there, getting the Omegas and all the double jumps, even going for that one right there, skipping over a B. Really nice Ratley
really
section.
Nice. Now, both the players right now are squawks in different levels. You're going to see Void not take this boost that's hidden over in the left corner. He wants to actually stay below a certain point in the stage so that he doesn't trigger the fanfare at the end.
Again, Waffle taking that damage back there, making this last B section very scary. Very nice. Void coming up on the final section. Ooh, taking a death on the last B, unfortunately. Void looking like he's going to be able to clear Screech's Sprint and is able to get out of that. Nice. What's the name of this gun again?
It's the blunderbuss.
Okay. I was going to say it wrong again. It was like Wonderbust thing, whatever it's called. That's the name of his gun. Anyways, we got Waffle here moving his way up through the last squawk section again. Trying to slip past these again, showing off the risk reward of taking that damage boost earlier.
Taking a little safety just so he doesn't die because he's so close to the end.
It's famous people say in the Donkey Kong Country community that, especially this game, oof. There's lots of ways that you try to save 1 second, and if you die, you lose like 30 plus. Kind of showcasing right there. Yeah, looks like he's going to elect to go to just keeping the Kong, making this last section a little less scary. You'll see what the alternative path here, which is at least good to show off how optimized this game is and how high level these runners are. That's literally the only difference. You just don't go through the B right there. It's barely slower, but again, trying to save every single frame they can. As for King K. Rool going on over here on Void's side, a bit of an auto-scroller of sorts, a long fight, but they do want to optimize just how quickly they're able to throw the cannonballs back into the flumber dust or whatever it's called. Just trying to get in there, trying to go dustless, meaning whenever it's sucking in, trying to avoid as many of the dust particles as they can. Very nice job there by Waffle.
Previous GDQ commentators have called this boss a glorified cutscene. That's not far from the truth, but it's not something that you can sleep on. You gotta have those optimal throws into the gun, like you said.
Yeah, so they'll do different setups, like right there, Void having that jump up in the air.
Yeah, that's just to set up the timing for when you can throw the cannonball.
All right, last big platforming stage here. Right there you saw from Waffle, he elected out of it, trying to go for a moonwalk once again to try to stop those Sonic the Hedgehogs, as we call them. Hey, Sonic Block started a little bit early. Ooh, Blue Diddy for the fans.
And Dixie.
That is how you know he is liking this run he's doing right now. That's how you know it is a high-quality speed run. This waste time, like I think 6 seconds throughout the run. Or throughout the rest of the fight.
It's actually even slower to get Blue Dixie also. So.
Just because you're swapping.
Definition of swag right here.
But yeah, by having that throw-up animation while it confuses the game, puts you in this blue state. You're not actually, as you can see, moving slower like the blue smoke usually does. It's just, you're just blue. All right, Waffle taking damage right there from that last ring of bees. See how fast we're able to get through this last section. Last couple bees, ooh, barely avoiding that bee. Now I should be able to just hold down and go on the bottom section right here. And we are out of Screech's Sprint, ladies and gentlemen, right there.
And Void about to wrap up his speed run.
Yeah, so get ready on time. They'll be right as the coin hits the ground. Diddy deserved it. Time for Void.
Nice run.
And reminder, guys, right after this race is over, Void will be staying right here, actually, and popping in another Donkey Kong Country car. He will be, because of your generous donations of $20,000, be doing reverse boss order. I've never seen him do it. I don't know how it's possible, but we'll see how it works. It's about as linear as a video game can be. And they found some way to do it completely backwards, basically.
We're going to be swapping out. We're going to have some commentators who actually...
People know what they're talking about. Yeah, I'm not going to commentate. I'd just be like, whoa, that's cool. Do that again. No, seriously, go back. So we are from Waffle moving into, this is our second phase of the fight. Again, trying to optimize seeing as little of those dust particles as possible to optimize the fight as much as you can.
What are the dust particles coming out of?
The pimple popper or something, or I forgot what it's called. That wasn't even a laugh. That was just, oh, that's gross.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know, what's it called again?
The blunderbuss. Watch it be like not remotely an English word, and I'm also just like botching the
Is that a
pronunciation.
real thing? Is that like an actual thing? Like, that's a real gun, right?
Yes. You think we'd meme at a Donkey Kong Country run? Like,
Right, that's what I'm
that would
saying.
never happen.
Like, it's not even a Nintendo thing. Y'all were just like, yeah, the blunderbuss. Yeah, that sounds about right. And setting up that large jump there to try to time it there from Waffle.
We're going for these little,
Ooh.
we don't have slide slides in this game, so.
That's as good as we can do.
Ooh. Well, not to be outdone.
Blue Diddy and Dixie for the fans, ladies and gentlemen.
You can actually see how slowly K. Rool moves across the screen if you're familiar with this game. That's basically why it wastes time, is that K. Rool slows down.
Oh, yo, we got the backup barrel right there. Dixie does not get to be in front for this. That's actually one of the hardest parts. Where is he? You really want to avoid the red smoke, though. That makes you move a lot slower.
Yeah.
We don't want that. That'd be a little too excessive. And the purple smoke coming up reverses your left and right controls.
Yeah, getting over them is really easy. You just have to stand in the spot and jump as the smoke approaches you. And then we just kind of get to hold left and right.
Yeah, fun little trick right here. If you are Diddy, he's fast enough. If you just hold in the corner, hold left, he won't be able to get you.
But Waffle does have a cool setup for timing this last hit.
Yeah.
Once the cannonball spawns, you're going to see it. He's going to walk all the way to the other end of the stage, and once he gets there, he's just going to immediately throw. And not killing off Diddy.
And time. Yeah, boys, bring it in.
Nice runs.
Good job, boys. It was fun. Yeah, good job, boys.
Nice run.
Yes, bring it in, bring it in. All right. Well, while we're shaking hands, so that was your Donkey Kong Country 2 Warpless race. Donkey Kong Country blog is only halfway through, and it's going to be our man Void right here showing you how to do some real crazy stuff. So stick around, guys.